Hey everyone, and welcome. Today, we're going to dive deep into one of the most common things in Java, the string. I know, it seems simple, but trust me, there's a lot going on under the hood. And once you really get it, it's going to make you a much stronger developer. This looks familiar, right? I mean, from your very first Hello World program, you've been using text wrapped in double quotes. It feels so basic, doesn't it? Almost like a primitive type, like an int or a boolean. But is it? And that's the big question we're tackling today. Is a string just a bunch of characters, or is there something more going on? You know, the answer is kind of what separates someone just starting out from a seasoned Java pro. Okay, so here it is, the first big reveal. Every single time you write a string literal like that, you're not just creating simple text. You're actually creating a full-blown object. It's an instance of Java's string class, which means it has its own properties and a bunch of built-in tools. And speaking of rules, there is one single non-negotiable law that governs every single string object you will ever make in Java. And getting this is, well, it's everything. That rule is immutability. It's a fancy word that means once a string object has been created, its contents are set in stone. You literally can't change it. This was a very deliberate choice by the people who made Java, mostly for security and performance reasons. So anytime you do something that looks like you're changing a string, you're not. What's really happening is Java is creating a brand new string object in memory. So you might be thinking, wait, if I can't change them, how do I get anything done? It's a fair question, but the solution is pretty straightforward. You just create a new string that has the changes you want. And for those times when you're making a whole bunch of changes, Java gives us helper classes like String Builder to make it way more efficient. So enough with theory, let's get practical. This right here is the way you'll create a string 99% of the time. You declare it, give it a name, and assign it some text. Couldn't be easier. Now, one of the first things you'll want to do is join strings together. This process is called concatenation, and Java makes it really intuitive. You just use the same plus operator that you'd use for adding numbers, but here it just sticks the text together. Just think of it like this. You have a few separate string objects. When you add them together, Java doesn't actually change any of them. Instead, it takes their contents and uses them to build a totally new, bigger string object that holds the final result. Let's see how that looks in some code. It's pretty simple. We have two strings, strOb1 and strOb2. Then we create a third one, strOb3, by using that plus operator to combine the first two with the text and. The most important thing to remember here is that strOb3 is a brand new object. And when we run it, the output is exactly what you'd think it would be. The two original strings get printed, and then the new combined string shows up right below them. It's a simple little feature, but you're going to use it constantly. Okay, so making and combining strings is cool, but remember how I said they were objects? Well, that means they come pre-packaged with a bunch of super useful methods, or tools, that let us inspect them and work with them. First one up is length. It's as straightforward as it gets. It just tells you how many characters are in the string. You'll find yourself using this one all the time for things like loops and validation. Next up, we have charat. This one lets you reach into a string and pull out a single character from a specific position or index. And just a quick reminder, Java, like most languages, is zero-indexed, so the very first character is at index 0. Now, this one is absolutely critical. It's the equals method. This compares the actual content of two strings character by character. This is the right way to see if two strings are the same. A really common beginner mistake is using the double equal sign, double equals. But that only checks if two variables are pointing to the exact same object in memory, not if they have the same text. So please always use dot equals. All right, let's put these methods to the test. In this little demo, we're going to get the length of our first string, and then we'll grab the character at index 3. After that, we use dot equals to compare it to two other strings. And pay attention to string op3. We're not making a new string there, we're just making that variable point to the exact same object as string op1. And the output lines up perfectly. The length is 12. Yep, the character at index 3 is s. The dot equals check between first string and second string correctly comes back false. But because string ob3 and string ob1 have the exact same content, dot equals returns true. See how that works? So we've got a handle on individual strings. But what happens when you need to work with a whole collection of them? Well, just like any other object type in Java, the answer is arrays. Here's a super classic example of how this works. We just declare a string array and load it up with 3 values right away. Then, a simple for loop is all we need to go through each item in the array and do something with it. In this case, we're just printing each one to the console. And no surprises here, the output is exactly what we'd expect. The loop runs through and prints each element from the array on its own line along with its index. It's just a really clean and simple way to work with lists of text. And that's a huge takeaway here. From processing command line arguments to managing lists of data, string arrays are a fundamental building block that you are going to see over and over again in Java programs. So to wrap it all up, the Java string isn't just text. It's an immutable object that's packed with useful tools, and you can easily manage groups of them using arrays. Really understanding these fundamentals just opens up a whole world of possibilities. So the only question left is, what are you going to build with this knowledge? Thanks for joining me.